Once again, my name is Chris Meckley from ACI Aquaculture. We're doing a segment on Bellus Angels. I hope you enjoy it. Gynecanthus bellis. It's also known as the Bellus Angelfish. It's a somewhat deep water angelfish, open water swimmer. They're planktivores. They do not harm corals. They are reef safe. They are hard to get. We get them from Philippines, RVS Barnett. He sends them to me when he has them on his list. They're usually fairly small from him, which is great. We also get them out of Bali, and my Jakarta supplier has them on their list on very rare occasions. So their range is pretty wide, from the Philippines down to Bali. We like them because they are vibrant in color. The males look completely different from the females, as you'll see in the video here. A lot of people like the females versus the males because the females have that deep blue with the black, and then the white, the contrast is just amazing. And then the males have that yellow orange. And what I like about the males is they got that blue lip. There's just something about that fish. The males, I personally like the males better than the females, but again, who am I? Everybody to their own when it comes down to what they like. We get them in here and they usually don't last very long because they are fairly highly sought after. Most of the time we have a waiting list for Bellus Angelfish. They feed off of pretty much anything that we throw in there. They eat the otohime pellets, thank you Chad. They also feed off of the frozen mysis shrimp, frozen brine shrimp, and that's pretty much what we feed in here to our angelfish, unless we know that they're going to be something that picks at algae. And I know Gynecanthus species, I've never seen them pick at a strip of nori. So basically, easy to keep. If you're in a reef tank, in a fish-only tank, they'll be fine as well. I would prefer that most people would keep them in a reef tank because a reef environment is usually kept better by the hobbyist. A lot of times in a fish-only tank, people don't think about all the parameters like they do in a reef aquarium, even though you really should. It's very important, I think, in a fish-only tank to keep the parameters exactly where they should be in the ocean. The fish live in the ocean, so why wouldn't you keep it the same? So in a reef tank, from what I've seen in the past, I've seen Bellus Angels in fish-only tanks. They look good, but in a reef tank, they always look better. They seem to be healthier. Their colors are more vibrant. And you don't get the chances of having, like some fish-only tanks, sometimes you see head and lateral line because parameters aren't kept the way they're supposed to be. So if it's a fish that you're interested in, it is very easy to keep as long as you can get a good, healthy specimen. Here at ACI, like we do with all of our fish, we use praziquantel when they come in. We use nitrofurazone in case they have ammonia burn a little bit from the long travel. It helps keep bacteria infections from setting in. The praziquantel, again, takes care of any parasites like flukes. Big thing that's the main thing that takes care of. And then once we use those medications, we put them through 4 or 5 days worth of 0.14 copper in the system, and they seem to be okay at that. We don't seem to have any issues with our angelfish with a therapeutic or somewhat higher than therapeutic level of copper in the system. Other than that, I mean, they're an amazing animal. They move around kind of like an anthias, swimming in the current. They don't hide like some angelfish do. They're out and about. It's a beautiful animal. We did a segment on semifasciatus, or the masked swallowtail angelfish. I can't even remember how long ago that was, but very similar animal to that. Just like the Watanabe angel. Holy grail, which only a handful of people in the world can even afford, is the personatus. But that fish comes from 450 feet of water, so understandably on the cost of the animal being unaffordable for most people. The zebra swallowtails, very common, and then another favorite of mine is the Lamarck angel. All in the same family, all fairly easy to keep, do best in a reef environment. Another really cool thing I like about angelfish and actually saltwater fish, there's a lot of species that if you can't get your hands on a male, which is usually the hardest thing for us to get out of, in the Gynecanthus is getting males. You can get 3 or 4 females And the dominant female in your aquarium, if you have a big enough aquarium for that many fish, the dominant female will change into a male in time. It could take weeks, months, maybe even years, but always you will have one of the females out of your group will turn into a male. The dominant one is always the one to do it. That is mainly the reason why I think that the collectors know this and understand this, and they don't take the males all the time, because they know that if they take females for customers, that for their customers, that they will get a male out of it if the person or the hobbyist that ends up with them wants a pair or a trio or more, they're going to get a male that way, just through the natural life cycle of the fish. So that is a really cool thing about the Ginacanthus and most angelfish species. One other thing I think is very important when you're looking at purchasing any Ginacanthus angelfish, from my experience, it's very rare that this happens, but when we bring them in from the Philippines or from Bali, it happens on occasions where they, are fine when they're packed in the country where we buy them from, but because of the pressure changes flying them over here, sometimes that messes up their air bladder a little bit. I don't like to have to do this, but this is something that we have to do to ensure that the fish lives in captivity. They can get an air bladder issue where they can't release the air and allow them to actually swim normally. So one of the things you're looking at when you're buying a Ginacanthus in a store is he swimming normally? Is he swimming and not constantly struggling to swim down? Because if a fish has an air bladder issue, they will constantly be bobbing in the water because they're fighting from floating to the surface because they have air in their air bladder. So what we have to do in here on very rare occasions, we have different gauges of hypodermic needle that we have to use to actually puncture the air bladder and release the air. I haven't had to do that to a Ginacanthus in a while, but we do have to do it on occasions to our fish, and it's something that we do to ensure that that fish lives. And it's usually within the first 24 hours we notice it, and then it can get that nitrofurazone bath at the same time, so hopefully we don't get a bacterial infection setting in. But that is something that I would recommend you look for when you're purchasing a Ginacanthus species, or any fish in general. Make sure that they're swimming normally and not struggling to stay down to normal levels of water. So take a look for that when you're purchasing them. You're probably not going to see it because most store owners are going to keep that fish in the back and take care of it on their own. But if they didn't get a chance to see it because it came in, mention it to the store owner, and if they know what they're doing, they can always take care of that, and in a week or so offer it to their customers for sale then, after they know that it's normal and swimming fine. So other than that, I really don't have anything that's an issue with those fish, other than just make sure you look carefully at them, and you got a healthy species or a healthy specimen. Once again, my name is Chris Meckley from ACI Aquaculture. I hope you enjoyed this short segment on Ginacanthus Bellus angelfish. Thank you.